very good morning and you're welcome back to Ireland's Weather Channel. Taking a look at the very latest forecast, the final approach, of course, of Storm Amy. It's making its way in from the Atlantic at the moment. There's spells of very heavy rain in place with a risk of localised flooding once again, following on from quite significant flooding in many parts of the country yesterday. Reports of flooding all the way from parts of West Cork into Kerry, up into Galway, Mayo, and throughout many parts of the border region as well, up around Cavan and Monaghan. Particular images coming in from there. But of course, our main concern this morning is Storm Amy, and with that, the wind speeds are our predominant concern. We're going to take a look at the latest weather models at the moment. So this is the Harmony model, the one which is used by the national provider in terms of the issuing of weather warnings. If we take a look, we'll play on, we can see the development of the low. It's at a 978 hectopascals center point at 10 o'clock at the time of recording of this video. But if we just slide it on, we can see it deepens as it passes by the northwest coast of Ireland. And look at the purples, and look at the eyes of bars starting to get really tightly packed together at that point in time. Getting down as low as 968 hectopascals by 3 o'clock, and then deepening as it passes its way up along the west coast. Now at this point here, there's the possibility of a sting jet. That's where we see a branch or an arm of the jet stream getting pulled down from higher elevations, rushing down towards the ground and accelerating the wind speed significantly. That can cause a lot of damage. So we're just keeping a very close eye for the potential development of a sting jet along parts of the west and north coast of Donegal in particular. Hopefully it develops a little later and it pushes in maybe across parts of western Scotland here where it's a little bit less populated, but we do need to be aware of that possibility existing. Now I'm just going to play it back here for a little second, back to 1 o'clock. I'm going to switch across to the UK model. So this is a model that's done by the UK Met Office, and what we will do is we'll take a look, we'll zoom in specifically on the areas that we're most concerned about. So using our little data pointer here as well, and we'll start up along the west coast. And let's take a look as we go on towards, let's say, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So by 3 o'clock, we're already looking at wind speeds in parts of the west into Galway up around 119, 120 kilometers per hour. As we go further out towards Connemara, winds at that point up to 130, 137 kilometers per hour in one or two of the most exposed locations. If we go up the coast towards Lewisburg and Mayo, again Clew Bay 133 kilometers per hour, up along to Achill 140 kilometers per hour, and then the south tip of Belmullet up to 144 kilometers per hour. Play that on to 4 o'clock, and that's when it's at its really most severe in this area. Again, parts of Achill wind speeds up to 140, potentially 145 kilometers an hour, into Belmullet 144, 151 kilometers per hour, potentially the strongest gusts that we could see here. And then of course those winds are going to transfer up along the way, so even into parts of Sligo, Mullimore is coming in at around about 133 kilometers per hour, and at that point up in West Donegal, up around Glenconkill, 130 kilometers per hour. Fast forward that on another hour, and look what happens. We have that core, the main focus of those particularly damaging winds pushing into Donegal at that point, 144 kilometers per hour, 155 kilometers per hour up around Bloody Foreland as well. And I'm sure if we go on to 6 o'clock, we'll see those winds really getting up to their peak as well. If we go to Malin Head here, 158 kilometers per hour potentially. A little bit offshore, of course, those winds are stronger again, so up over 100 miles per hour, 169, 170 kilometers per hour. A real possibility, 176 kilometers per hour. That is undoubtedly as the consequence of a sting jet. So we do have really quite severe conditions in place today. If I go off this and we just recap through those weather warnings quickly, we'll jump across onto our Windy app because they give you the latest weather warnings as they come in. And we'll take a look at that here. 1 second while we get it up. There's so many different layers at this point in time that we can essentially look at whatever piece of information that we want to. But we're going to look at the weather warnings again in place, and we'll talk you through those a little bit. So here is Ireland, and this is issued today. I don't know why, but the UK Met Office ones have not been upgraded. So what we can say is that at the moment we know that there are 5 counties under a status orange weather warning: Galway, Mayo, Sligo, Leitrim and Donegal. We also have Fermanagh, we also have Tyrone, Derry and the northern part of Antrim is under that status orange weather warning as well. The area that we're looking at as well here, parts of West Roscommon, we're always concerned as to why these areas aren't included in a status orange weather warning as well. The conditions here certainly warrant the issuing of a status orange weather warning, and similarly so, West Cavan is also likely to see winds of a status orange level category. We do expect to see this coastal red weather warning in place up along the west coast, so that is for wind speeds that reach violent storm force 11 in their category. We are surprised as well that Donegal has not gone red yet. We think that with the potential of a sting jet development there and wind gusts approaching 150, 155 kilometers per hour in exposed coastal locations, and even inland up to 130 to 140 kilometers per hour, that is certainly bordering into the status red category. And personally speaking, at Ireland's Weather Channel, if you live along the west and northern coast of Donegal, treat this as if it is a status red weather warning between the hours of around about 2:30 right the way through to about 6 or 7 p.m. this evening. So just exercise that degree of caution. Ourselves, we're going to base ourselves here, we believe, in Belmullet, assuming we don't see any updates within the next half an hour to an hour before we leave. But we will be bringing you live footage from either Belmullet or potentially from around Glencornkill in Donegal. So stay tuned for that. If you've signed up for the Hurricane Hunters, we'll be bringing you all that footage over the course of the next couple of hours, and indeed we'll be editing some of that footage and putting it up as we go through tomorrow as well. Thanks a million for tuning in to our weather forecast so far. Storm Amy has the potential to bring some damage across the country, as we mentioned: power outages, disruption to transport services and the felling of many trees. Please exercise caution, treat the status orange weather warnings seriously, and please do try to stay as safe as you possibly can. Thanks a million for tuning in. Thanks a million for subscribing to our Patreon. If you know anybody else that wants to, by all means, spread the word. Have a great day, mind yourselves, and I'll talk to you during the course of the day as well. Bye for now.